All right, Honors Algebra 2, welcome to your Section 1-4 video in your 1-4-1-6 game plan. I am going to try to take my time to do some of these questions. So let's look at number 2. It says evaluate 1 2/3, which is snowball 5/3 minus 2 times y plus 1. Wow, fractions. Okay, so 5/3 minus, this is going to be a negative 4/3. A negative 4/3 plus 1 is a negative 1/3 because it's a negative 4/3 plus 3 over 3. So we have 5/3 minus 1/3 is 4/3. All right. That's how that one cleans up again. Fractions. Okay. Let's go to this next page. I'm going to do the right side. The right side. Let's get to the right side. There. All right. Solving this absolute value equation. So 7 is equal to y plus 5. Or y plus 5 could be a negative 7. You could also flip around if you don't like seeing it like this. And the absolute value, y plus 5 is equal to 7. No big deal. All right. So we're going to subtract 5 from both sides. 2 is equal to y. Subtract 5 from both sides. Negative 12 is equal to y. Right. Let's talk about 8. I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. 2x plus 1 and the absolute value is equal to 8. 2x plus 1 is equal to 8. 2x plus 1 is equal to negative 8. Subtract 1, divide by 2. Both sides. Again, check it. Can you have a distance be equal to a negative 8? Can you have 8 as a distance? Yes. If that was a negative 8, that'd be no bueno. Again, it's all about absolute value here. Can you have an absolute value? What comes out of the absolute value? Equal to 8. You can. Subtract 1. 2x is equal to 7. Divide by 2. 7 over 2. All right. You're like, Mr. York, I can't see that. Now you can. Subtract 1. 2x is equal to negative 9. X is equal to negative 9 over 2. Have that down again. I need to make a video relatively quickly, so if you need to pause me, go ahead. I won't be offended. And let's talk about 10. 10's nice and quick. Here's why. Subtract 8 from both sides. You have an absolute value, which is a distance from 0 equals a negative number. That goes against the that's what an absolute value is. That goes against what an absolute value is. Absolute value is a distance from 0. It can't be negative 8. What comes out of the absolute value can't be a negative 8. That would be like saying this. The absolute value of negative 8 is negative 8. False. Okay, this is a false statement, which means you have no solution. Which is that? No solution. Okay, so we did 11 in class. We learned about extraneous solutions as a possibility. Now we're going to talk about that in 12. 12's on the hard side. Not going to lie. 12, I'm going to make sure I have a lot of room for 12. 12 is on the hard side, okay? So on 12, I'm going to add 2x to both sides. 3 times 2x plus 1, the absolute value is equal to 3x plus 3. Divide both sides by 3. 2x plus 2 and the absolute value is equal to x plus 1. So, just like number 11, what's inside the absolute value drops out. 2x plus 2 is equal to x plus 1. Or 2x plus 2 is equal to the opposite of x, minus 1. All right, I'm going to solve both. Subtract x. X plus 2 is 1. Subtract 2. You get x equals negative 1. Now something special is going to happen here. Add x. 3x plus 2 is equal to negative 1. 3x is equal to a negative 3. What? X is negative 1 again. Okay, well look, folks, if you double this, you get 2x plus 2. So it kind of makes a little bit of sense. We got both there. So all I need to do is test one of these answers, negative 1. What I do is I take negative 1 into the step right before I started solving, that one right there. I take negative 1, I plug it in for x. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. You can have an absolute value equals 0. It's rare. You don't really live on the tracks, but that is true. If I plug negative 1 in right here, I get the absolute value of 0 is 0, and that is a fact. So this is kind of an odd one, but that is technically my one solution. I don't circle both of them because they're the same answer. But x equals negative 1 is my solution. Okay, in the hashtag game time section here for Honors Algebra 2. Let me do, because I think we might have stopped there because you have a quiz you're working on, some of you literally at the moment, so I don't remember doing these. I'm going to do 5 with you. 4, can you see 5? You can. 4 times negative 9 minus a negative 4 plus 5. 4 times a negative 5 plus 5. And the negative 5 is in the absolute value. What comes out of the absolute value? Always positive. So what comes out of here is a positive 5. You're going to multiply it by 4, and you're going to add 5 to it. You get 25. What comes out of the absolute value is always positive. That doesn't mean you're going to get a positive answer. Okay, you might get a negative answer overall. I mean, look here. Here on 3, you have to get a negative answer. You're literally multiplying what comes out of the absolute value. Can you see 3? I think so. By a negative. All right, so negative 5 times 36 in the absolute value. Get negative 180. All right. Let's talk about 7. Talk about 7. So 2 times, I've already forgotten what x is. Y in the absolute value, x minus y. X is a negative 4. Y is a negative 9. All right. What do you get here? You get 36 doubled, 72 plus 3. Okay, negative 4 minus a negative 9, that's a 5. 72 times 3 times 5 is 72 plus 15. 87 for number 7. And then I have as an idea to do number 10 with you on this page. Everything else be ready to do. So low. Let's go to 10. Can you see 10? 10 is right there. Negative 3 times x is a negative 4, right? I've already forgotten. There you go. Absolute value, negative 4 times negative 9. Do this first. That's a 12. Then on the inside, a negative times a negative is a positive. Well, this is just 12 times 36, which is 432. Okay? 432 on that page. Just evaluating. Then, if I can, let's take a look here. Next page, page 4. I am going to do the right side again. All right. Let's do number 12. Let's do 12. And the absolute value, x minus 3 is negative 5. Ooh, alarm bells should be ringing. Can you have the absolute value equal a negative number? Can you run negative 5 miles? Okay, even if you don't do anything, it's still not a negative. So this It goes against the definition of absolute value. Absolute value is 0 or more, always. This is a false statement. No solution, which can be written like that. Okay, now you might be looking at 14 and saying, oh, we got another no solution. Can we see that? I think that's sort of clear. Let me move that too. Sometimes it looks clear, but turns out to not be clear. We're going to divide both sides by -2. Okay, so don't judge it too soon. 5y plus 1 in the absolute value equals 6. You can have a distance that is a positive 6. That is A-okay. 5y plus 1 is equal to 6, or 5y plus 1 is equal to -6. You're going to get 1, solve it, and then a -1.4, solve it. All right, we'll take a pause there. Make sure you have that one. 12 is pretty nice. 11 is pretty nice. You can do those. On 11, you're going to just subtract 4. You have the absolute value of x minus 5 equals 6. 2 equations there. On 13, you're going to add 5 to both sides, then divide by 3. You'll have the absolute value of 2x minus 1 equals 4. You can do that. You have 2 equations. Let's talk about 16 and 18. Definitely the hardest ones in the section. Maybe the hardest ones in the game plan. Okay, so x plus 5 equals 2x plus 3. I drop the absolute value and I write exactly what I see versus x plus 5 equals a -2x minus 3. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. I'm going to subtract 3. All right, x equals 2. We'll check that in a sec. Add 2x to both sides. 3x plus 5 is a -3. Subtract 5. 3x equals a -8. X equals a -8/3. All right. Then we need to check. What we're going to do is, first off, this should be pretty easy. Again, this is not just a number. It's not 15. It's not 10. It's not 8. It's not a constant. It changes depending on what x is. So anytime I have x on the other side of the absolute value, I need to check my answers. I'm going to take 2 and I'm going to plug it in. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. You have absolute value of 7 equals 7. You can have the absolute value equal +7. That is a good answer. All right, -8/3, it's kind of a bummer to plug in. 2 times a -8/3 plus 3, -16/3 plus 3, which is 9/3. That's a -7/3. You cannot have the absolute value of something equal a -7/3. Did I do that math correct? Because if you plug that, yes, if you plug this in, you get 7/3 and the absolute value is equal to a -7/3. And that is false. This is an extraneous solution, a solution that you get that makes your original statements invalid. Okay? That is going to happen potentially when you have x's on the other side. Like in 15 through 18, you're going to have to check those. So I'm going to help you on 18 here in a sec. Pause this. Pause this. We'll talk about 18. All right. On 18. If you guys don't like, if you want to flip it, that's no big deal. If you don't like that the absolute value is not on the left side, you can flip it. So the absolute value of 6, so 6x plus 25 is equal to -3x minus 2. Or 6x plus 25 is equal to 3x plus 2, the exact opposite. Okay, so the one in blue here, I'm going to add 3x to the other side. Eventually, I'll just start drawing arrows for the work that I'm doing. Subtract 25. X is a -3. Okay. Subtract 3x. 3x plus 25 is 2. Subtract 25. You get x is basically -7.7. All right. Let's look right here. Up top, I'm going to plug in my answer for x. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. Can you have the absolute value of something equal positive 7? You can. Just call this like negative 8. Negative 3 times negative 8 is 24. 24 minus 2, can you have the absolute value of something equal positive 22? Yes, you can. Both solutions are valid in this case. All right, they're both valid. This will take a little bit to learn, so we'll talk about it more before that quiz review, I promise. On the last page of this section, last page here, I'm going to do with you number 21. 21, you'll see in a sec. Do you see 21? You see 21. And then I will do 24 with you. All right, and that will be some good help. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Then I have a negative 5 on the outside times 3x plus 8 is equal to a negative 15. You're like, oh no, a negative on the right side. You got to divide both sides by negative 5. And then you get 3x plus 8, and the absolute value is equal to 3. So 3x plus 8 is equal to 3. Or, give me the space over here. 3x plus 3 is equal to a negative 3. Now again, you didn't have x's on the right side, so 3x, you had the absolute value of something equals 3. That is not an x, that is a constant 3. There's no checking the answers. You only check your answer. There's an x on the other side, like in 23 and 24. Your two answers here are going to be bueno. 3x is a negative 5. X is a negative 5/3. Okay. Subtract 8. 3x is equal to a negative 11, and x is a negative 11/3. Again, you don't need to check it. If you plug them back in, you'll get the absolute value of negative 3 equals 3. The absolute value of 3 equals 3. You only have to check if you have basically x's on both sides. Okay? On the opposite side of the absolute value, there's an x there, because an x isn't a constant. It's a variable. Changes. All right. You guys can do 25. Add 7 to both sides. Divide by 2. Then you'll have the absolute value of 4x plus 7, I think equals 10. What we got here? Can you see 24? There's 24. 24. Divide by 2. 4x is equal to the absolute value of 6x minus 3. All right, 6x minus 3. I'm flipping it. 6x minus 3 equals 4x, or what's inside the absolute value equals the opposite of 4x. Now, I tell you to move things over to the side that has a bigger x, but in both scenarios, 4x's, the x's are already only by them, the x is by itself on the right side. So that's going to be the side for the x's. It's already kind of claimed its spot. X is equal to 1.5, 3 over 2. Here, subtract 6x. Negative 3 is equal to a negative 10x. Divide both sides by negative 10. X is equal to 0.3. Folks, plug your answers in there. As long as it's 0 or more, it's going to be bueno. Plug in 1.5, you can have the absolute value of something equals 6. Plug in 0.3, you can have the absolute value of something equals 1.2. So both of these answers check out. All right, folks, on Friday, I'm going to make a section 1.5 video to start us off. This is a good video for us now. This is Yak Math Videos signing out.